Are you guys ready for a heartwarming, delicious pasta noodle soup? Well, I am. I'm so excited to share with you today this viral recipe that's been going around on TikTok and Instagram. There are stuffed shell noodle soup or a lasagna noodle soup. I'm going to kind of combine the two and use these beautiful noodles I found at my local grocery today. So add your shells to your water and cook those until they are nice and al dente. And then we're going to drain these and save them. We're going to cool them off with a little bit of cold water before we put them in our soup, right before we serve it. All right, so now we're going to make the filling, or what we would consider the filling if we were making a stuffed shell, but this is going to be our topping. It's going to be a beautiful ricotta. I'm also going to be adapting the recipe by adding burrata. Oh, I love this stuff. It is so creamy, and it's going to make this soup so luscious. So I'm adding 1 cup of our ricotta cheese to a little bowl here, and then we're going to add some chopped parsley. I just take off the tops, roll them into a nice big ball, and give them a nice chop. And then we're going to serve this with a garlic bread. And I have kind of a cheat I'm going to share with you in a minute, how to make the most luscious garlic bread with a little bit of cheese and a deep, deep, wonderful garlic flavor. All right, we're going to add that. Then we're going to add salt and pepper, and you can add lemon juice, you can add a little bit of Worcestershire, whatever you like for flavor. I'm just going to leave it plain because there's so much flavor already in this sauce, but I always like to add a little bit of salt. Of course, ricotta is pretty salty, so you don't have to go too crazy. And then we're going to add a couple grinds of fresh black pepper, and that's it. That's going to be your topping for this luscious soup. And we're going to add some fruity olive oil. First thing you want to do is take your Italian sausage and remove the casing. You can do that by either cutting straight down, or you can cut the end off and then just squeeze all that wonderful goodness of the sausage right out into your pan. So as you can see, we got this nice, and it's starting to get a nice caramelization. That's what you want. All this flavor from these brown bits just really make this soup extra delicious. And at this time, we're going to also add our dry basil, a teaspoon, and 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Give that a good stir. I'm going to let that garlic cook for about 30 seconds. Doesn't have to cook too long, just enough to let it become fragrant. All right, now we're going to add 4 cups of tomato sauce, 1 cup of chopped tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and give that a good stir. And now we're going to add 4 cups of chicken stock. This is actually chicken bone broth. I really love the flavor of this. It's very rich and brown, as you can see. And the last thing we want to add is 2 cups of water. Because your shells back into your soup mixture, you're going to want to cook this for another 15 minutes or until those pasta shells are just perfectly cooked. And then we're going to serve it up with all of our toppings, and it is just going to be fabulous. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is make this delicious garlic bread. Okay, so here's the cheat. Boursin cheese. This is the garlic herb version of Boursin cheese. It is so good. It's almost like butter, and it's one of my favorite things to do a cheat for making garlic bread. And all you have to do is just spread it out nice and thin like this, and then add Parmesan to the top. And we're going to put these in the broiler, and they are going to be perfection. Look at that. Nice hearty soup. That broth, and this is basically becoming the topping of our dish. You just want to spoon out a little bit and let it fall down inside those little shells and around the soup. Look at that cream inside. Isn't that gorgeous? And we just want to tear a few pieces of the burrata. So you have all that texture from the ricotta that is nice and salty, and then you have the creamy, wonderful burrata. And then I'm going to add some gorgeous basil around the edge. And then you just want to finish your plate with that wonderful piece of garlic bread. Stuff it right in the top here. You can set it on the side, and you're ready to enjoy this delicious bowl. All right, so now we're gonna have our taste test. It's my favorite time of the day. And actually, this dish only takes about 45 minutes from start to finish to cook. So, on the table in a flash. Wow. The burrata adds so much depth of flavor, and the ricotta, super salty in a good way, has that bright flavor from the basil, and of course the tomato-based soup is so, so good. And this bread, oh my gosh. Well, I guess I should wipe my mouth. I hope you all love this. This is a delicious recipe. Happy cooking.